forgot my microphone. What's up? Alright. I cleaned my desk and I moved my mic over. I was like, where the hell's my microphone? Alright. Oh my god, and it just got disconnected. Ugh. I honestly don't even know what you guys hear me through. Now I'm trying to reconnect. Alright. I mean, you guys are still hearing me. I have no idea what device you're hearing me from. How do I sound? Does it sound alright? Alright. So I figured we'd start with a little Christmas music. What's up, Debbie? Hey, Amber. All right, MFW0488. I know you're not Katie, but I'm just curious who you are. I mean, you left me a very nice comment. Katie can't even speak like that, but thank you for the comment. I'm just curious who you are, because I know you're not Katie. Get down. So, what's up, Anders, Amber, Sly, Annie? So, this is going to be a reaction video. Now, let me preface this with, I don't have any hate towards anybody. So this isn't an attack on anybody. But I am absolutely dumbfounded at what I keep seeing and the amount of subs that fall right into it. Everybody lost sight of Sebastian. If people put half the amount of energy into Sebastian as they do Betty, they might have some traction. But instead, they would just rather talk about Betty 24/7. Now, let me also say that one of the reasons that I never really covered this case is because I don't like either side. I don't like Seth and I don't like the Proudfoots. So I'm not going to talk about a case where I can't even decide which parent I like less or like more, any way you want to put it. So that's why I never really fucked with the case. If you don't like a parent, walk away from the case. There's a million other cases out there and a million other missing kids. But far too many creators only care about their own pockets while they blame everybody else. And what blows my mind is how many subs don't care or don't see it. I mean, the one I'm going to review tonight had over 1,000 people in her live. All she did was bash Seth and Dog and Betty. How was that helping Sebastian in any which way, shape, or form? It's not. The only thing it's doing is helping your pockets get fatter. That's it. I also don't understand how people can be so blind to what is right in front of them. Why can't Betty just go live and speak to her audience? She's not hurting anybody. And the people she is hurting, well, they bring her in court. But it's like everybody hates Seth because he's part of Betty's camp. You can think that that Seth is a liar all day long. Who cares what your opinion is? Why are you forcing your views down your audience's throat? Okay, Seth is a liar. What does that have to do with Sebastian? It doesn't. What does that have to do with finding Sebastian? It doesn't. So why is it force-fed down people's fucking throats? And that's a question for subs, because I don't know that answer. But let's get into this. Hang on. All right, I'm going to start it from here only because this leads right into, I'm not playing a whole 4.5 hours. That's insane. But I only listened, I was cleaning the house and I only listened, I want to say for about an hour. So I don't know what happened after it, but let's start there.
The bounty hunter is a bounty hunter, not an investigator of missing people. What does a bounty hunter do? Don't they investigate and find missing people?
Nope, they don't. But carry on.
Usually fugitives.
Yep. Okay. A missing person case investigator is not the same as a bounty hunter. While both may involve finding people, a missing person investigator focuses on locating individuals who are missing without any legal obligation to appear in court. Whereas a bounty hunter specifically tracks down individuals who have skipped bail and are considered.
Semantics. Who fucking cares? Why does it matter? If I had a missing child, I don't give a fuck who's looking for her. Why are we getting into the nitty-gritty of definitions of what somebody is? Is dog helping look for Sebastian? Who gives a fuck what his title is? Like, honestly, who cares what his title is? He's looking for Sebastian. If you want to say you're investigator of the year, if you're helping find my son, I don't give a fuck what title you use. Why do we have to correct every little thing? Like, what is that helping? I don't get it. And nonsense, please tell me, who are you helping by doing that? You're correcting Betty? Who gives a fuck if you correct Betty? Betty is a fucking idiot. We know this. So let her have her way. Like, you're not getting anywhere by correcting semantics when it comes to a missing child.
Considered fugitives from justice, often working for a bail bondsman to recover the bail money. Key differences: a missing person investigator looks for anyone who is missing, including runaways, victims of kidnapping, or people with dementia, while a bounty hunter only seeks out individuals who have violated bond conditions. And there's usually money attached to it.
I'm pretty sure that Betty's logic, I guess you can put it, Betty's logic is they're still missing for people on the run. They're missing people that, whether they're kids or adults, they're missing people that police were not able to locate by themselves. In my opinion, and I could be wrong, to me, that's Betty's logic. Hey, Rhodey, that's Betty's logic. I could be wrong, but that's what I think.
Missing persons investigators typically do not have the same legal authority to apprehend individuals as bounty hunters, who may be authorized to make arrests in certain situations. Missing persons investigators are often hired by family members or law enforcement agencies while bounty.
Nonsense. Are you saying this to make yourself sound smart? I mean, I don't get the point. What does this have to do with finding Sebastian?
Bounty hunters are primarily employed by bail bond companies. Research is hard. Right, Joneson, and thank you for the support. I cannot with the creepy fake laugh. It's scary as fuck. Yeah, she really thought she was doing something, but this is where I'm going to let it play a little further, and I love this for her.
Oh, good gracious.
Oh,
the stupid on this boy. I don't think you can wash it off with soap and water. I'm sorry. A bounty hunter that's captured over 10,000 people.
Now, I have a question too. For all these people that hate Betty so much, why do you watch her all the fucking time? Why make videos about her every fucking day? People that don't like Betty know more about Betty than the people that like her. B. Tim could tell you every move Betty makes. Nonsense could probably tell you every move Betty makes. They can all tell you every single move Betty makes, but they claim to not like her so much. Make it make sense.
Apparently doesn't find missing people.
Well, let's talk about what TMZ. Well, actually, let's talk about what the Independent says first about Dog the Bounty Hunter. So, Dog the Bounty Hunter has tried to get his name into other missing persons cases. You might recognize some of the names. Since she thinks that he finds all these missing people and they keep quoting that he's found all these missing people, let's look at articles around that. This is from August 18th, 20.
So then she goes on to show August 18th of 2022, an article that one newspaper, the Independent online news source, I think they're actually overseas, did on Dog the Bounty Hunter. And so they don't like him. Dog the Bounty Hunter has a nice following. Do you think he cares what one media outlet reports on him? Why does this matter? And I'm not bitching at her. I'm legit asking her, why does this matter? Who cares what anyone's opinion is on Dog the Bounty Hunter? It doesn't matter. Again, if you had a missing child, would you care who looked for him as long as he was found? Or at least as long as a lot of people were looking for them? I wouldn't care. Who cares what someone says about Dog and what he did? I don't get the fucking point in going over this. I just don't. And that is an honest to God question. What is the point? What is bashing Dog gonna do to find Sebastian? Do you think all of a sudden people that watch you are gonna, oh my God, we can't help Dog? Or who cares if Dog is even pitching to get a TV show? If he's helping Sebastian, or if he's helping look to find Sebastian, why does it matter? And I'm so frustrated listening to this again. I was just as frustrated listening the first time because I don't get the mentality. I can't grasp it in my mind. How what any of this is good to find Sebastian. But these are all the people that say how they don't exploit Sebastian. What the fuck is this?
2022. Oh, let's play this video. That might be fun. Oh, it's gonna ad, of course. Hold on. Let's get through the ad. I love when Betty acts like this, truly. Let's turn the volume on. It's all the way up. Okay. Let's make sure you guys can see it. All right.
But Gemini, don't you understand? Nonsense has 10,000 followers. Dog has millions of followers. What the fuck is her word gonna do for anything? It's not. Nobody in Dog's camp is gonna be like, wow, this girl must be right. It's ludicrous to even think that. So, she's not getting 100, 200, 300,000 views on this video to make it worth a fuck. Her voice is going to stay in this little fucking community where they jump from QB to nonsense to burn toast, it's to granny's watching. It's the same fucking people going to the same creators. As long as you're in that little group, oh, all the followers are going to go there and they're going to talk about Betty and they're going to talk about Betty and they're going to talk about Betty. And this one's going to talk about Betty and that one's going to, I mean, come on. These people claim Betty is so bad, but they can't get fucking enough of her.
Told the outlet that he will not get involved unless he is personally invited to do so by Kylie's family or law enforcement, or if it reaches the point where 21 days has passed since the teen was declared missing. A 21-day time scale is when dog claims that missing persons cases typically go cold. 21 days, cases go cold, according to Dog. Thursday marks the 13th day of the search for Kylie, who vanished without a trace from the Prosser family campground in Truckee, California. Kylie had gone to a party of around 200 to 300 teenagers and young adults at the campground on the night of.
Now, in all reality, I do think that what Dog meant by that is after 21 days, they're not searching. After 21 days, they're not, they're gonna scale it back because manpower, money. I mean, there's a lot of reasons. So that could be what Dog meant. I don't know. I've never had a personal conversation with the man, but he may not mean it literally, but more figuratively. After jumping into all those places, and what do you mean, Bushi?
August 5th. She was last seen around 12:30 a.m. on August 6th at the site, a hotspot for local teen gatherings. And her phone last pinged around that time close to Prosser Lake, which runs around the site. Kylie's car, a silver 2013 Honda CRV, is also still missing. Rest in peace, Kylie. She was found, of course, we all know. The teenager's mother, Lindsay Neiman, told The Independent last week that her daughter sent in her final text message around 11:30 p.m., saying that she would be leaving the party in around 45 minutes. The drive home takes 25 to 30 minutes. Kylie's friend Samantha Smith told The Independent that she last spoke to Kylie on the phone around 12:30 p.m. She had been planning to get a ride home from the party with Kylie, but there was a change in plans because she said Kylie had been drinking and so was not in the position to drive. Instead, the two friends told each other, "I love you, good night, get home safe," she said.
Like, I also don't get the point of her going through Kylie Rodney stuff from 2 years ago. What is the point? Just to dog on Dog? Just to bash Dog? Like, dude, he doesn't care what you think.
In the almost 2 weeks since the missing persons report was filed on the 6th of August, hundreds of law enforcement personnel from multiple agencies have combed through the area looking for the teen, with searches on the ground, in the air, dive teams, and the waterways. Despite the extensive search efforts, investigators have found no clues to her whereabouts. Oh, wait, this is where it gets real interesting. The reported calls for Dog, who was convicted of murder back in 1976, that's why he's a felon and can't carry a gun, to get involved in the case, come as officials have started scaling back the search for the teen. The TV star's reluctance to get involved comes after he faced a backlash when he famously launched his own search for answers following the disappearance of Petito. Young couple Petito, 22, and Laundrie, 23, set off on a once-in-a-lifetime cross-country trip in their camper van back in July of 2021 and were documenting their
See, here's the thing. Notice in the video, notice how many reporters were all up in Dog's face. They all wanted a picture with him. They all wanted to talk to him. There's a reason for that. Nonsense's opinion of Dog means absolutely nothing. Dog can hold his own. He made his fame, and now they don't want him anymore. That's typical Hollywood, but hey, whatever. That doesn't mean that he's not trying. It doesn't mean he's not important. It doesn't mean that he means nothing. Like, it just doesn't matter. And reading articles and stuff, I just don't grasp the point. I don't grasp the logic. You guys, you're no different than Betty. And I'm sorry that people don't want to hear that reality, but nonsense. You're no better than Betty.
travels on YouTube. On September 1st, Laundrie returned to his parents' home in Florida, alone in the van with no sign of his girlfriend. After Petito's parents reported her missing on September 11th, Laundrie went on the run. His family.
Now, let me pose this out there, okay? Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you. What if, just what if, now I know Dog is no John Travolta or Tom Cruise or anything, or, Brett, whatever, Tom Brady, but Dog has a big enough following that what if, just what if, one of Dog's subscribers, one of Dog's people is the person that kidnapped Sebastian. And I know it sounds crazy, but let's just say that's what's happening. Let's say that that's how it is. And we can't say no because none of us know. But what if he sees Dog and he's like, oh my God, my idol is on this. I better give him back. Maybe Dog was hoping something like that. Maybe that's Seth's way of thinking. Maybe that's Betty's way of thinking. Well, not Betty, but maybe that's just their way of thinking. We don't know. And Dog does have diehard followers. So maybe he's hoping that if he gets in the news enough and if he's on this case enough, maybe, just maybe, the person that quote unquote may have taken Sebastian would give him back just because Dog is on the case. We don't know, but it is possible.
Family told police that he was headed to the Carlton Reserve nature area close to their home. Days later, on September 19th, Petito's remains were found in a Wyoming National Park with her autopsy confirming that she had been strangled to death. The disappearance of Laundrie and discovery of Petito's remains sparked a huge manhunt to track down the 23-year-old boyfriend, and the case made international headlines. Days after Petito's remains were found, Dog waded into the case and announced he was launching his own search to find Laundrie. In a controversial move, he showed up on the doorstep of the Laundrie sister's home on the 25th of September, and the family called the police. Over the next few weeks, he continued his high-profile search for Laundrie, documenting the saga on a social media in a move that even his own daughter, Cicely, condemned as a publicity.
Okay, in case Nonsense isn't aware, he has one daughter that loves him and backs everything he does, and he has another daughter that he does not get along with at all. And she has bashed him on multiple occasions. He has always taken the higher road and said nothing, but their history goes way back. I think he also has a son. I'm not sure which side the son is on.
Publicity stunt. No, not his own daughter saying that he was involved in a missing persons case for a publicity stunt. That couldn't be. Dog would never.
Who cares? Even if it was for publicity stunt, who gives a fuck? Is she doing this because she just loves Sebastian so much? No. I'm trying to think of other creators that claim, like me, that, Nonsense has said numerous times she doesn't know Sebastian. It has nothing to do with Sebastian. She would never say she loves Sebastian. She doesn't even know the kid, blah, blah, blah. So why you doing this, Sebastian? Why you doing this nonsense? For money. Just fucking own it. This is public. Going after Betty every day is equivalent to publicity. People want numbers. People want to people want people in there. Why do you think that's the only fucking thing Burnt Toast ever talks about? Because that's the only way she gets a number she gets. And if people can't see this by now, I don't know what the fuck to tell you.
The reality star's intentions in the search were called into question once again when reports emerged that he had pitched a TV show about his venture to a cable channel. While law enforcement focused much of the search on the Carlton Reserve, where Laundrie's remains were ultimately found, Dog honed in on a campsite where a 23-year-old had gone with his family days before his disappearance. Dog said he believed Laundrie had never left the campsite and boasted about closing in on the fugitive. In one bizarre incident, he paraded a Monster Energy can on his social media page, suggesting it was left behind by Laundrie and that the net was closing in on him. But Dog was wrong. On October 20th, almost 1 month after he launched his own investigations, investigators discovered Laundrie's remains miles away inside the Carlton Reserve. He died by unaliving from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head and left behind a notebook where he confessed to murdering his girlfriend. Kylie's family are remaining hopeful that a 16-year-old will be found safe soon. Her mother told The Independent she will never give up hope of finding her daughter as investigators scale back the search. I don't think I will ever give up hope that she'll come back safely back to us. The mind reels, that doesn't stop. But I do have people coming forward and sharing stories of their loved ones who went missing and then came back weeks or days, weeks, and months later. California officials have so far received more than 1,100 tips, but still have been able to unearth. Okay, let's carry on with bets for a minute. But you can find.
Why is she reading the full articles? What is the point? I can't grasp the fucking point.
All sorts of information about Dog the Bounty Hunter, his racist, transphobic rants, and so much more if you would really like to learn more about Dog.
Okay, I gotta stop. Whew. The Sumner County Sheriff, oh, good gracious. The Sumner County Sheriff's Office.
And I am not paying attention whatsoever over here. I'm so sorry. Jonesin, thank you for being a member. She said, we ain't fishing in that pond. No way, Jose. Nobody's fishing in that pond. That is a dried up, salty beach. Sherry, thank you for the support. Emily, thank you for the gifted memberships. Much appreciated. All right, let's let Betty embarrass herself some more.
TBI, FBI, and Secret Service have been and are currently investigating this case. And if you find any evidence to be relevant, they'll obtain it themselves without the need to pay people like TMC companies such as At Night is trying to do. Well, I can guarantee nobody's listening to you, dum-dum. And I can tell you, moving forward, you're going to be freaking 86 from these cases, because if you can't figure out a bounty hunter actually does capture missing people all the time, I don't know what.
Ugh, Betty, how embarrassing.
Nonsense. I'm more embarrassed for you because I expect this from Betty, but you should be totally embarrassed. Why? Because you are gaining talking about this. You are exploiting this case just as much as Betty, and you don't see it. And your subs don't see it. And you're getting paid, and you're getting super chats, and you're getting memberships, all while exploiting. But I know it's different because you're talking about Betty, right? Who cares what Betty thinks? You guys put so much fucking weight on what Betty says. Who gives a fuck what Betty says? Betty is an idiot, and she's a liar, and she's a phony, and she's a fraud. That's why I don't watch her. But what she's saying now, she's not wrong.
Capture fugitives from justice. There's a huge difference in missing persons.
Semantics. It doesn't fucking matter. Who fucking cares? Whether it's missing kids, whether it's missing adults, whether it doesn't fucking matter.
Versus bail jumpers who have money attached to why they're being. Anyways,
What to tell you.
You can go further with it if you would like.
I mean, the stupid, like I said, the stupid on this boy ain't getting washed off with some soap and water.
I don't think that you have any right to call anybody stupid again. Trevor has a reference sheet from working with people to change laws. You have a rap sheet of all the laws you've broken. Stark contrast there, Bets. Stay in your lane. Know the lane and stay at the fuck in it.
he's an embarrassment. He's an embarrassment. And I doubt that they're going to be getting a whole lot of, or helping in a whole lot of ways with these people. It sounds like he's a butthurt little boy. At Night Intelligence Agency is something that I would trust a hell of a lot better than some punk that has an axe to grind with Seth Rogers, which is sad that he would actually intentionally, because let's face it, FBI in Sumner County and TBI would have collected this if they were going to collect it a long time ago. So they would have it. And at the end of the day, they're not communicating with the father of this case. And if
Oh, wait, are you acknowledging that the FBI, the TBI already has this information? Say it ain't so. Well, let's look at this right quick, because she did just acknowledge that this information that they are hunting for, this comes directly from Seth's page. This, we are seeking photographs or videos taken inside the Texas Roadhouse at 309 Indian Lake Boulevard, Henderson, Tennessee, on or around February 25th between 5 p.m. and 11 p.m. This was the location of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers' last known meal, shared with a group that included his bio mother, Katie Proudfoot, on the night he vanished. If you were there or have relevant photos or videos, your submission could help uncover critical details. A reward of $500 to $5,000 is being offered for qualifying materials. What's the email of that one? Litigation at Night Agency. Why is that email litigation?
All right. First of all, the last time I checked, none of us are in touch with the police, and none of us have the policeman calling us with updates. Why does nonsense assume that something hasn't changed with the police? Does she know that for a fact that Seth wasn't contacted and there was an error somewhere? Does she know that maybe the cops said go for it or you can do this? I don't think they can put anything out without police approval based on based on how missing persons cases work. So if this is on Seth's page, the cops are okay with it. Because I don't think Seth would do anything to put his son in danger or to put his son in harm's way. So as far as I know, he would actually need to contact the police to ask them if this is okay. But nobody wants to assume that. Everyone wants to assume that Nick and Dog and At Night Media are up to all this shady shit. And why are we assuming that it's something negative? Maybe Seth went to the cop and said, is it okay if we put this out? Cop said it's fine, and that's why they did it. But let's just assume that it's some shady shit.
A little iffy if you ask me. But let's just take a little gander of sorts back in time for a moment, please. Because this all started after this new recent interview here on social media. So I want to take us back in time for a moment and remind people of some of the things that came out of Seth Rogers' mouth.
This threw me over the edge. It doesn't fucking matter what Seth said back in March. Things change. People change. Views change. The police could have changed. Lots of things could have changed. So to go back and listen to Seth lies from March, his son was only missing a month then. We do not know if something changed after that. We do not know the inside of what's going on. So again, why are we automatically assuming that it's something so horrible?
Because Betty acknowledged that they had video already but Seth does also. So let's just go right over here for a moment.
Yeah.
Do you mind expanding on that a little bit?
I just tell my volunteers that get together to help pass out flyers for Sebastian. They noticed that vehicles be following them. And I told them if they see anybody following them, get their license plate number.
Oh, and I will be playing a little bit more context in this for a reason. Because I think it's important for people to remember, because now
Important to remember what? That Seth is a liar? What is your point? By you doing this nonsense, you're no fucking better than Betty. And anyone that is contributing to this, you're no fucking better than Betty going after the Proudfoots. Like him or hate him, he is the biological father of a missing child. Leave him the fuck alone. It doesn't matter what you feel towards him. It doesn't matter if you think he's such a liar, then do what I do. Don't talk about the fucking case because you don't like either parent. Just admit that this isn't about Sebastian. This is about money for you, because why else are you bashing the parent of a missing child? Isn't that exploitation? Isn't that what your whole group of friends is dead set against? But it's okay to do it to Seth because he's on Betty's team, right? I get it now. The fuck out of here.
the rewrite and attacking Trevor Lee over him saying that this is.
Look, I'm going to put this out there too. I don't know Trevor Lee. I've never even had an interaction with him. The only thing I know about him is he's somehow always causes trouble or is getting in trouble, but he's a good kid. He is an honest person, allegedly, lives in Tennessee. That's all I know about him. But why are you more upset over Trevor Lee than you are over bashing the parent of a missing child? Isn't that what half this crew is so mad at Betty for? As far as I know, this is what they're so mad at Betty for, but yet they're doing it.
BS, don't send stuff to them, is completely unnecessary, but Betty needed it for content today to puff her chest. But she acknowledged that the FBI already had this, but Seth's about to acknowledge it too. Let's go.
And I pass it off to TBI.
That's what's up. Wow. So people are getting followed, allegedly. People are getting followed who are just passing out flyers.
Personally, I still think it was JLR that was following people, because that's what JLR does. Hey, Whistle.
Volunteers that are just contributing in trying to find your son. That's very odd. Have you seen anything like that yourself? Have you been followed?
By the way, for the record, that is my fireplace behind me. Just saying.
Can't intimidate me. I have a goal in mind.
Gotcha. Have you already reported that? Because that basically says yes to me. So have you reported that at all to TBI or any law enforcement at all that you have been followed?
Yeah.
Has it changed as of late, or are you still getting followed?
I haven't been followed today.
When
But-
you go ahead.
Today, if they wanted to know where I've been, I mean, they can ask me. Whoever wants to follow me, I was at church 3 times today. It's Good Friday. Time to go to Mass.
Right on. When did you report that?
Mass?
Go ahead. What were you saying?
Did you go to Mass?
Not yet. I'm a bad boy. I'm burning in the fiery pits of hell. I know.
I'll get down and help make sure that you don't stay there long.
I appreciate that, my brother. I appreciate that. But when did you go ahead? Say that again.
It's always time to change.
Right. Always, always, always time. But when did you report to TBI that you were actually getting followed? Was that yesterday or was that a few days ago?
I've reported some license plate numbers to TBI.
So all this stuff that we've been hearing about them being followed and stuff, and then law enforcement came out and said that there had been no reports made of anybody being followed. I just have some questions.
He said he reported it to the TBI, not to the cops. And cops lie as well. I mean, I'm not saying they are, but they do.
I've never been able to show proof of anybody being followed, but he's claiming in this March 29th interview that with Pascal that he was reporting license plate numbers. He wasn't being intimidated though. So where's all this proof of people doing all this stuff to Seth?
Who cares? It doesn't fucking matter. He is the father of a missing child. Stop exploiting for your own personal gain.
I'm just asking for me.
I let them know a couple weeks ago that some of my volunteers were being followed.
That's just crazy to me. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
That's very, very weird.
And we do know that one report was made to Nashville PD by the United Cajun Navy because of a property owner in a dispute that they had trying to gain access to that property.
Weird. We might circle back to that question here in a second, or at least that topic here in a second. But I do have some questions. I know that there has been some updates. You and Katie Proudfoot.
Very good question, Trevor Lee.
At least Katie Proudfoot were in the same room with TBI and they gave you some updates. Can you tell me anything that came of that conversation with TBI?
Quick question before we go into this. Put a 1 in the chat if you watched the new recent interview with Seth, Tony in the lab from the other night. Put a 1 in the chat if you watched that. Put a 2 if you did not. Please and thank you. Majority of you did. Okay. A few of you did not. All right. Well, in that recent interview, there was a lot of details that have changed from the beginning. This again was March 29th. What you are about to hear is out of Seth's own mouth after he had met with law enforcement in the TBI. Now, again, I take you back to Betty is attempting to shame Trevor Lee for him making a post saying, do not send these people information. Law enforcement is involved. Betty acknowledges that law enforcement most likely has this information. Well, this is going to show you that Seth's own words back up the fact that law enforcement had the videos from the Texas.
For my replay crew, please tell me when you guys are going to wake the fuck up. You don't think this is exploitation of a victim? Of course it is. And maybe you guys don't care. Maybe you think that if it's wrapped up in a bow with a nice red ribbon, that it's not exploitation. This is exploitation. Bashing the parent of a missing child is exploitation. No matter how many bows you want to wrap around it, no matter how many angles you want to take, bashing the parent of a missing child is exploitation. Especially when you do it because you don't like one of the team players, which is Betty. It's a fucking joke. Shit pisses me off.
Roadhouse back on March 29th, which in my opinion were previous to that. Now, they didn't show him videos from the inside of Texas Roadhouse. He asked for proof of life, which they showed him, and you're going to hear that. But why now? Why this?
She did a 4.5-hour live today. A 4.5-hour live. Just talking about Sebastian and Betty. Not Sebastian. Seth and Betty. Again, if you don't like Betty, why do you all give her so much credit? Why do you give her so much time in your life? The amount of time that these people spend thinking about Betty, watching Betty, wondering about Betty. Just think if they took all that energy, and this goes for subs too, if they took all that energy and put it actually towards Sebastian.
This post, why are they sending people to Texas Roadhouse like Silver's on the scene to compile, and why are they offering 500 to 5,000? Could that be because they want people who might be, in my opinion, desperate for Christmas money to come out of the woodworks and release some salacious something or another? Could that be? Is it more distractions?
The video with the 2 flashlights on there, they showed me the whole video. And then they showed me the video in the daylight too.
Oh, wait, and this is another piece. I figured this context would be important to put in here.
Penny, we don't know that. We don't know what happened to Sebastian.
And remind people. That flashlight video that the team continues to run with and do the most with, you're entitled to have your opinions on what you think you see in those lights. But this is a good reminder of what Seth was told by law enforcement. And he sounds very confident in his answers here too. Which that story has completely changed by the team, the Army.
And it wasn't flashlights. It was literally the video that was showed to the public was like a small little portion of this.
And let me tell you something. I'm probably going to lose a few subs on this, my next comment, but that's okay. I don't blame the creators for building a platform. I don't blame a creator for growing their platform. That's not where where my biggest anger is. My anger is why they're doing it with the big red bow when they're doing the exact fucking same thing that the people they're talking about is. But if it wasn't for 1,000 people that are so fucking obsessed with Betty that they can't see what is actually going on, I don't know what to tell them. But subs, this is your doing, because you're feeding people that are obsessed with Betty. So your creator, the one you go to, are just gonna keep feeding it, because that's what dictates 1,000 people in a live. And that's how I know they're not doing this to stand on their own. They're not doing this because they want to point things out. They're doing this because they're fucking exploiting. And that's what their audience wants, because their audience jumps from one to the next, talking about the exact fucking same thing. You can go from burnt toast to Queen Bee to Granny's watching to nonsense. They will all be talking about the exact same topic. And you'll have the exact same people in their lives. I can't stand listening to Betty for more than 5 minutes, let alone hours every day. That's a problem with the subs. I don't blame the creators for that. That is a problem with the subs. Wake the fuck up. And then you have a bunch of followers who can't stand on their own. They absolutely fucking follow whatever a creator tells them. Guys, you're adults. Stand on your own. You don't need to not go or go somewhere because someone doesn't like them. You don't have to have the same opinions. Stand on your own. Make a stand. Okay, I don't like Betty. Then don't sit in fucking Betty chats every day for hours on end. Because all the creators that I just named cater to Betty's biggest fucking fans.
Screen,
Yeah.
not the whole actual screen. And it was a trash truck. It came through. It's why it was slow at the beginning, because it was picking up trash. And then after they picked up trash, when it came back, they were dipping out in the neighborhood.
Interesting. Because, okay, so we've seen that video. We've all seen at least what Nick Barris put out here. Now, and you're trying to explain it a little bit. I hope you can explain a little bit more. When you went and saw it with TBI, the nighttime stuff, the flashlight, the stuff that looked like fire.
I am literally so disgusted at the subs that are in these communities based on what I'm saying. I have never seen more followers in my entire fucking life. Some of these creators, I'll just call names so you know what I'm talking about. Queen Bee could say jump and half her followers would say how high. Queen Bee could say that she eats shit and it tastes good, and half her followers would agree with her. That's how fucking weak this community is turned into. If Queen Bee said she doesn't like someone, well, half her followers no longer like them either. Same thing with Savage, same thing with Grannies, not as much though. But are you not, are they dictators? And I understand, like, someone like Queen Bee, she's just doing her thing. She's not trying to, like, Savage forces it down people's throats who to like. Queen Bee doesn't. But half her followers are so far up her fucking ass that, oh, if she doesn't like her, we can't like her either. It's fucking crazy to me. And y'all know what I'm talking about.
Fireflies, for crying out loud, in the Black Abyss. Was that the full picture, or was that a cropped video?
Oh, Trevor Lee, this will clear that up too about Chris being at Texas Roadhouse, because he's asked, and you'll hear what Seth says.
That was like a 3x5 of a full TV screen.
Really?
Yes.
So okay, so it was a cropped segment, or a cropped section of a very big picture.
I mean, I've seen some people actually sit there and talk about, well, the trash don't run at 3:15 in the morning. You're right. It runs.
Sweet one, you shouldn't have to pick a side. That's my whole point. Whether I like someone has nothing to do with anybody else. If I say I don't like Betty, some of my mods, Patreons love Betty. Okay, they can love Betty. I would never, ever want somebody not liking someone because I said I don't like them. I would never force down someone's throat how they shouldn't like someone. If they're a mod of mine and they're representing my channel and they're over on one of my haters, yeah, that's a problem. But unless you're a mod not fraternizing with haters, there's absolutely no reason at all for me to dictate where you go or say this one's so bad or that one's so bad. You're all fucking adults. Make your own decisions. Just because one person thinks this is so horrible, I'll give you an example. I think Molly is a fucking asshole, but that's just my opinion. And I'm not going to tell anybody don't watch her or you shouldn't watch her because she's this or that. But some people, that heavy of an audience.
Between 5 and 5:30 in the morning.
Right.
But the whole time that I watched this, the time on the DVR that they had stayed 3:11 for like 15 minutes.
Okay. So
So broke equipment.
So it was broken. Okay. So it stayed at 3:11 for the whole time. So 3:00 was not the time that these trash guys came in. These garbage men came in and picked up the trash. That was a little bit later on, a little bit earlier in the morning, if that makes any sense. More like 5 or so, right?
Correct.
And of course, again.
Oh, wait. Did he just say correct? He did. Very confidently, in fact.
And this was a cropped video from a very, very big video.
Yes.
Okay.
I honestly think somebody did it for clickbait. I mean,
I see. Okay. So then,
he
okay.
wanted people to log in to follow. And
Right.
if he's watching this now, he knows why I'm not answering his phone calls.
Oh, I see. No, I get that. But okay, then tell me this.
It is false information and something that's going on trying to find my son.
I can understand getting upset about that for sure. I definitely can. But there is actual movement in that area. If he didn't know, I could see that. But, I could see a little mistake happening there. But as far as the rest of the image, right? Because it was only cropped with a bunch of, with those 2 white dots floating around for 2 seconds, right? What does the rest of the picture that you saw look like? Is it just pitch black, or was there movement elsewhere?
It's dark because it's at night, but you can make out the road.
And
so it's like whoever shared it with Nick and Nick put it out, you could see the whole road. There was nothing there. There was no cars on that road. There was no movement on the road except for the trash truck. That was it.
Gotcha. Okay. But you also saw footage from during the day as well, right? You just said that it was nighttime and day.
Yeah, because what they wanted to do is they showed me the footage for the night, and then they turned it around and they took from the same camera.
And let me also say, anybody that needs to put a banner up saying how they're not exploiting is exploiting. It's how you don't see that and how majority of this fucking camp doesn't see it, I don't know. But if you have to convince yourself that you're not exploiting and that you need to explain it, you're exploiting.
Camera video footage from the day and showed me where the markings and everything were, so that I had no doubt in my mind.
And this is where people will say, law enforcement misled Seth. They didn't tell him the truth. Something yada, yada, yada. You make up your opinion. Did law enforcement mislead the parents of a missing child? I don't think so, personally.
Gotcha.
Because some of those lights actually stay stationary.
And
they're on throughout the night and throughout the day. And they literally showed me where it was. And I've been in the neighborhood. I even knew what house it was. As soon as I saw it, I recognized the house. So I knew the angle. Because the angle's coming from at the end of the street. It's not pointing at like a common section. It's just literally at the end of the street so that the owner can watch all their vehicles.
Gotcha. Wow. Okay. And for everyone who's watching the show, just tuning in just right now, this is the biological father of Sebastian Rogers, just so you got
little interesting details, isn't it, when you go back and hear what was originally said?
Why does any of this matter? Nonsense. What is the point? Just tell me, what is the point? You want to catch him in a lie? Is there like an aha moment coming? Like, I'm lost. I am literally fucking lost.
compared to what they're trying to tell you today. But I wanted to make sure all of that context was in here before we lead into what else he saw this day when meeting with the TBI.
Guys know he has boots on the ground in Hendersonville, doing everything he can to find his son.
Sherry, thank you for the gifted memberships. Welcome to the Cabana.
He has been missing for the past month now. It's, I'm sure, extremely daunting. As you can tell, Seth, I mean, I can't wait for you to have an actual good night's rest. I know that won't happen until you find Sebastian, but still, I know that you're doing a lot of work to try to bring your son home.
I feel better today. I've been to church 3 times. I've done mass. I'll be at church again tomorrow for Holy Saturday, and then it's Easter Sunday. And I'm just praying for a miracle. So
same here. Same here.
Well, you go to mass for that then, buddy.
I will be. I will be for sure. I will be for sure. But one thing I do want to point out really quick to everybody, real quick right now, is that there is a GoFundMe right now. This is to help Seth stay boots on the ground out in that area. Okay. Before we continue on in our conversation, please, guys, I'm going to make sure that it is posted in the posted at the top of.
I'm going to let this play through because the next part's coming up. But again, the GoFundMe was created the second night after Sebastian went missing and posted on day number 3, after it was agreed upon that this would not be done.
How is this nonsense's business if a GoFundMe was done? Why is this a contention of conversation? I just get so frustrated. I don't get it. Who fucking cares if the man had a GoFundMe? It's his child. These people act like it's their child. If he wants to have a GoFundMe, let him have a fucking GoFundMe. And let him deal with the Proudfoots. Let him deal with Chris and Katie. It's not your fucking job to monitor if he's got a GoFundMe or not.
Of the chat in
amongst Katie, Chris, and Seth. But his sister, Seth's sister, went ahead and did it anyways, after it was agreed upon that they wouldn't have any type of fundraising.
The family chat so that you guys can go. Please, their goal is to just hit $18,000. They're almost there. Okay. $1, it doesn't matter. A penny, it doesn't matter. Whatever you can contribute is still a step in the right direction. So please go over to his GoFundMe. Show some love, show some support. There's some other things that I will be sharing with you guys as well. If you want to contribute in other ways, we will be talking about that a little bit later on in the conversation. Okay, but go to that GoFundMe if it moves you so. All right, this man is boots on the ground as we speak. So go over there and help if you can. Okay, and we will be talking about volunteers here in just a little bit as well. Okay, just to give you guys all a heads up if you want to get out there and help search for Sebastian. Now, you went there, you checked out this video, the full scope of this video. What we saw as regular people, okay, the people that are very passionate and really caring and that care about finding Sebastian, the footage that we saw was a cropped video up in the top right-hand corner of this very big, a much bigger picture.
Yes,
So
sir.
You saw day and night. What else was being said or talked about or shown to you with TBI?
Did you hear that right there?
I think that's what gets on my nerves the most is that all these quote unquote HOA people, the HOA creators, all think that this is their child. And I know some of them don't really talk about the case much, but you know what I'm getting at. They all make it out. They all do this kind of shit because it's their child. They are not even connected to the fucking case. They're not friends with anybody connected to the case except Clue. And I don't even hear Clue doing stupid shit like this. I don't watch Clue, so I could be wrong. But Nonsense. It's not your kid. I don't know why you feel that like you have to be a fucking Karen in Seth's life. Leave the fucking man alone.
What else was shown to you by the TBI? For those in the back that, like Betty, might be dum-dums, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, you know, law enforcement who was investigating this. Perk your ears up for a moment, because this is where this whole new post requesting information from the Texas Roadhouse seems like a distraction, if you ask me.
I had requested video proof that my son was alive after I spoke to him on Thursday.
What footage was that?
They showed me footage of him leaving Texas Roadhouse and getting into his mama's vehicle with her.
Texas Roadhouse. So he was getting in a vehicle with Katie Proudfoot from eating at Texas Roadhouse, correct?
Yes.
Oh, wait. The TBI showed Seth videos from the Texas Roadhouse.
Girl, stop being a fucking Karen. I mean, that's what you are, is a Karen.
Of Sebastian getting into his mom's car. So do we think that the TBI just gathered the outside video of the Texas Roadhouse? Do you think that the TBI didn't ask questions, investigate further of what was going on inside the Texas?
Maybe they didn't. I mean, I'm not saying they didn't, but maybe they didn't. Maybe there's new information that came out from this interview back in March. We're now in November. If it was my kid, I'd be fucking pissed that nothing, if there's been no traction at all. I would look at Dog the Bounty Hunter, Betty, I don't give a shit. Get me some traction on my child. And how do you run a case? You start at the beginning. And I really think that's what Dog is doing, is starting at the beginning. And exactly, maybe TBI, maybe they didn't have video from inside. But any case, you start at the beginning. That's how you run a case. I understand Nonsense is a Karen and has no idea the pathway of trying to investigate a case. It's been, what, 9 months? The cops have gotten absolutely fucking nowhere. They're no better off now than they were 9 months ago. So Seth and his team are taking it into their own fucking hands, and good for them. No, when it comes to a case, when it comes to investigation, if you go back, you start at the very beginning. The very beginning would be at Texas Roadhouse. That is where the last time he was seen, that would be your starting point. That is, in any investigation, that's how you do it. So they're not doing anything wrong. They're not asking for anything wrong. And if these people weren't such fucking Karens and they knew about true crime, they would know that's how you lead an investigation. And the cops ain't doing jack shit.
Roadhouse that night. Again, a reminder, this interview was March 29th. The TBI, the investigative agencies involved in this case, had the videos. Law enforcement has the videos of Texas Roadhouse. So why is At Night Media, the intelligence agency, requesting videos months later?
Again, because the cops haven't gotten anywhere. There's no traction made. Nothing.
And offering $500 to $5,000 kind of seems a little odd, doesn't it?
Was Chris Proudfoot there?
Oh,
No.
In the footage?
No. Chris was.
Oh, wait, let's back that up. Everybody get your listening ears on. That's been rewriting this. Pay attention.
live after I spoke to him on Thursday.
What footage was that?
They showed me footage of him leaving Texas Roadhouse and getting into his mama's vehicle with her.
Texas Roadhouse. So he was getting in a vehicle with Katie Proudfoot from eating at Texas Roadhouse, correct?
Yes.
Was Chris Proudfoot there
No.
in the footage?
No. Chris was in Memphis.
Okay, so Chris was definitely in Memphis. Okay. But when you saw them leaving,
Wait. So does that debunk the fact that Silvers claims that he was there? Oh, it does. Because he had just met with the TBI and he was very confident in that answer, no hesitation, that Chris was in Memphis. Say it ain't so. He was very confident in Chris being in Memphis, said it in numerous interviews up until some more people got involved, in my opinion. Some changes of the story kept coming out. Some details started to be fuzzy and twisted. Say it ain't so. Let's listen a little bit further.
were they with anybody? Were they alone? Just the two of them going into this car?
Yeah.
Okay. Quick question. Did you see any footage from inside
No.
Texas Roadhouse? No.
They just, I wanted proof of life on Sunday to make myself feel better. You guys want to know why I was smiling? That's because yesterday I got to see my son. I mean, it's not current, it's not up to date, but it gives me a little bit better of a feeling that I got to see him.
No doubt. No doubt. And I can only imagine.
You notice he asked if he was shown anything. He says no, they didn't show him any footage from the inside, but he doesn't say that they didn't have it. Now, again, I go back to law enforcement. It's kind of odd to me to think that law enforcement would have collected videos from the Texas Roadhouse from the outside, but not the inside. But again, that's probably what they're going to try to say. However, I just is going to probably fall short again.
Imagine. So when you
Everybody hates Seth because of Betty, because Seth likes Betty. And people are so blinded by their love for Betty, and I say love because they can't get enough of her. They're so blinded by their love for Betty that anyone connected to Betty, they have to bash, including exploiting Sebastian Rogers.
saw him walking out of Texas Roadhouse with Katie Proudfoot, his biological mother, was he wearing the same clothes that they're describing that he was last seen in? Okay. Okay. After seeing that footage, I know it made you happy to see him. Of course, you missed your son. I don't know. Was there any interaction, any exchange with Katie, between you and Katie, after seeing this footage?
No.
When was the last time you spoke with Katie before TBI? Before the TBI meeting?
It's been a couple weeks.
It's been a couple weeks. Wow. Have you seen them, Chris and Katie Proudfoot, boots on the ground, searching along with you at all?
Again, the date of this interview was March 29th. Pay close attention to this next part, and then we'll get back to Betty. But I've got a few more things to insert as we go.
There's nothing I hate more than a condescending Karen. Why are you so up and up in this? Like, is this your child nonsense? I'll say it again. You are doing nothing but exploiting Sebastian, all while claiming that you're not exploiting. They're all a fucking joke and a half. I don't care if they get 1,000 people, the subs need to wake the fuck up.
Even at the beginning, when you came into town, when you first came into town?
Chris went with me for one night to go check out some.
So let me throw this out there too. What if, just what if, the video that they showed him turned out to be a different video? What if it was proven behind the scenes that that video didn't come from that night? I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm just saying in general. We don't know because that happened behind the scenes. So we have no idea if Seth knows something that we don't know. We have no idea if Dog knows something that we don't know. We have no idea. So to turn around and think that you know exactly what's been going on between the police and Seth, nonsense. You don't have a clue. None of us do. So why don't you just let Seth try to find his missing child without all these fucking Karens up his ass and degrading him and putting him down? Just let him fucking find his child.
Leads that were coming off of Facebook, but they were 3 days old, I think. And after that, no. They say they're doing it. They say they're out there handing out flyers, putting out signs, getting billboards up, things of that sort. But they're not where I'm at.
Gotcha.
Which, I mean, I kind of, if you got more than one person doing it, it would be, in the grand scheme of things, it would make sense to split up to conquer the area.
Right. It would, wouldn't it?
It would.
So let me ask you. Let's talk about the search that you had with Chris. What was that like?
Oh, did he ask him about what the search was like with Chris when they went and searched together in the beginning? Because Chris and Katie haven't been searching or doing anything to find their sons, their son, excuse me, even though.
So because she keeps tossing the banner over and over and over and over and over, let's look at what a fucking hypocritical cunt she is. Welcome to the island. We discuss exploitation of victims and their loved ones. Is a biological father not a loved one? Is a biological father doesn't deserve the respect of you not exploiting his son and bashing him and telling him how wrong he is? What the fuck is wrong with you people? Like nonsense and 1,000 people that were in a fucking chat today. Where are your brains? This is exploitation. Bashing the parent of a missing child is exploitation. If you don't like Seth, then don't fucking cover the case. I am not personally connected to Sebastian. I don't like Seth and I don't like the Proudfoots. So you know what I did? I did the adult thing and I walked away from the case. I didn't use it to make the millions of dollars, thousands of dollars. I didn't use it to go after Betty. I didn't use it as a disguise that, oh, let me go after Brittany or somebody else because I'm going to go after the exploiters when we all know you just did it for fucking money. It's the only reason why you went after Betty. And again, you put a nice little bow on it and acted like you're so superior. Bitch, sit down.
Seth even says that they were doing that, but the internet's doing the internet thing and twisting stories. Kenna, thank you for becoming a member. Let's let this maybe play itself out right here.
How was the interaction? How was the search with him? Was it awkward?
No. It wasn't.
Oh, it wasn't awkward? Chris and him searching together wasn't awkward? Well, shit. According to the news stories, I think all of this shit would have been real awkward. Well, wait, it wasn't awkward though on March 29th. You guys, Trevor Lee is only one person. I see everybody like adding Trevor Lee. Please give him grace. He is keeping up like a mofo, but I don't even know what's happening here in the comment section, but all I just see is Trevor Lee.
When you have more concern for Trevor Lee than you do that you're bashing and exploiting the parent of a missing child, reevaluate yourself and reevaluate your subs. Again, I understand it's all about the mighty fucking dollar. That's more than obvious. With all these channels going after Betty, they're not all going after Betty for any other reason than donos. Been there, done that. Not with Betty, but I was in Betty's position. It's all about the fucking donos.
Trevor Lee's fingers can only work so fast, and he's a young man, and I don't want him to have arthritis from typing to all this crazies on the internet. Give him grace, please.
It was not awkward. I was the passenger side.
I see it,
I was the
Trevor.
passenger in the truck, and he was driving around. He's familiar with the area a lot more than I am. So he knew from the face.
I mean, let's call a spade a spade. Why did Nonsense start talking about Brittany? Because she found a red bow and she found a way to bring her channel back and to wrap it up tight. And if she's going to talk about Betty, because everyone else was talking about Betty, well, she's going to talk about Brittany because she's not in true crime. She knows nothing about true crime, according to her own words. But she's going to make right all the wrongs. Well, how are you going to do that if you don't know true crime?
Facebook tip where to go. And so I just jumped in the truck with him.
Okay. Gotcha.
Mods, do you want me to slow chat a little bit? If you do, I can. Give me 1 second. Wasn't awkward. Wasn't awkward when they were searching together. I gotcha. Let me do that really quick while I let this play. Oh.
And then that's it. You guys did a search and no strange, no odd interaction. He didn't say anything that would have made, I don't know, spark any kind of red flags or anything of that sort.
No.
Okay. I see. So my question is too, just going back to the TBI meeting, the most recent one you had, aside from those videos, was there any new leads or anything that they told you?
They're not going to tell me. It's an active investigation. They're not going to tell me.
Are you satisfied with their investigation thus far?
That's asking me that question.
Well, that's pretty dumb looking beyond. People in the military commit crimes every day. Some of them pretty fucking nasty, too. But I get what you're saying.
It's like asking me if I like the hamburger that I see you cooking.
Wait, did Seth just acknowledge he wasn't going to get any answers because it was an ongoing investigation? Pascal did seem very disappointed.
Is that an aha moment nonsense? Just please tell me, is that like an aha moment? Like, okay, why is this a big deal?
In these very confident answers from Seth, in my opinion.
I haven't seen the finished result yet. Finished result is me getting my son back. The sooner we do that, the sooner I'll tell you how happy I am.
Gotcha. I see.
And I think that makes complete sense. I think it's probably a natural reaction to have disappointment and frustration. Their child is still missing. But I think all of this extra unnecessary BS, like Betty's little
Here we go, back to Betty. It really doesn't fucking matter what your opinion is on it. It's not your child.
bullshit antics and the army, aka the team, is a lot of distractions if you ask me. But let's get back to Betty right quick. We've got more to talk about and more to inlay here. That might be eye-opening to some of you.
If we have a right to obtain it, nothing they're doing is illegal. And this information most likely has already been turned over to law enforcement. So they have every right to request it. If they want to pay somebody for the photo and pay them for their
But why wouldn't they just get it from law enforcement if they're an organization that works with law enforcement? You said that Nick the Hat not being allowed to work with.
Why does it matter? Why are we nitpicking? Why do we care what Betty says? You all claim to hate Betty. Why are you so concerned with every fucking word she says?
With law enforcement doesn't mean that the organization can't work with law enforcement. So if they have such a working relationship with law enforcement, and we know, according to Seth's own words, that the TBI on March 29th had video from the Texas Roadhouse that they had already collected, and At Night Intelligence Agency has such an organization outside Nick the Hat, and they're working with law enforcement. You know, they're such a reputable organization. Why wouldn't they just get that from law enforcement?
But here's the thing, looking beyond. Hey, Liza, here's the thing. This is what I'm having the hardest time with. It doesn't matter what she straightens out. Nick and Dog have no pull with the police. So let them spew misinformation. Dolly spews misinformation every day. JLR spews misinformation every day. Joseph Morris spews information every day. So why aren't they talking about them? I would love to see one of these Karens cover Joseph Morris. I bet a lot of them don't even know who the guy is. He is the biggest fucking phony on YouTube. But I don't see anyone covering him because he's got 600,000 subs. Probably more at this point. He put out a fake video about the Idaho 4. And that's all he does. And he's got 600,000 subs. JLR puts out false information all the time. Where's the videos about him? Oh, because he's got 300,000 subs, so we're not allowed to talk about him. Get the fuck out of here. Who else? Queen Bee. I don't see. Queen Bee's channel puts out false information every fucking day. I don't see any of them calling it out. So why are they calling out Dog and fucking, Dog and Nick? Because it's connected to Betty. That's why.
Because we know that they have it. Things that make you go,
it happens all the time. I know whenever I do documentaries or anything like that, I don't get paid for my documentaries. You know what
Every time I do documentaries, you mean fucking mugshots, Betty. Don't get it twisted.
I get paid for? The content that they purchase off me to accompany that documentary. I get paid nothing to sit on camera and talk to people. Nothing.
Now, in all fairness, I haven't watched him in over a year. Ever since he did that with the Idaho 4, I have not watched him. Can he be entertaining? Absolutely. Does he lie a lot? He used to. I don't know if he still does. I just know he used to.
Nothing. Zero do I get paid. Zero. But when they...
How does it always turn back to Betty making no money for...
But you know what's interesting, Liza? And I really mean this. Betty, show me creators who go after Betty consistently, who actually show their face, where Betty shows herself no matter what she looks like. I will always give her credit for that because I don't have the balls to do it. I wish I could be like that. I'm just not secure enough. But all these creators that go after her the most don't ever show their fucking face. That's what's hysterical. And that's what I find funny. I know Nonsense shows a face sometimes, but she doesn't talk about Betty a lot. But all these other creators that constantly go after Betty don't have half the balls Betty has. Think about that for a second.
For her professionalism. Maybe it wasn't, if it wasn't being used to make a mockery out of you and how you overstep, maybe they would, you know, think about paying you for your journalistic work.
I have the clips that are in those that you know that we recorded. We get paid for those because it's our content. They can't just use it. It's not called fair use because these companies know how to properly apply fair use. And what these content creators here on these apps try to pass off as fair use isn't fair use. It's theft, content theft. So, you know, they have to pay you because they don't want to be sued for content theft. So that's the only thing that we get paid for. So if this company wants to pay people for this.
Betty, have you ever made a buck on your knees behind Chili's asking for me? Just wondering. I haven't. But hell.
Their photos and videos, they're more than welcome to. And guess what? It's not illegal. And guess what? This information probably has already been over to FBI, but if it hasn't, the good news is the At-Night Intelligence Agency is constantly communicating with Washington, D.C.'s branch of the FBI.
Oh, are they? They're communicating with Washington, D.C.'s branch of the FBI.
Whether they are or they're not, why is it your concern? Nonsense. Stop being a fucking Karen. If Betty wants to tell her audience that, how does this diminish your life at all? It doesn't. How does this change your life at all? It doesn't. How does this make your life better? It doesn't. So don't worry about it.
Just like they were communicating with the incoming administration, trying to claim that they were in contact with Matt Gaetz, the incoming attorney general, who removed himself. Oh, I love this for them. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, they're having meetings. They tried to allege that it was the incoming attorney general. Well, he just withdrew his nomination. So does that just mean that you're now in communication with Pam? Is that what we're doing here? We're just rolling through the list of people. And again, I encourage you with common sense thinking to think about all the missing children, all the missing adults. And if you think Trump's administration is going to fix one situation and throw money at one missing child, and there's not going to be a complete uproar over.
How do you know? You don't. Or is it likely? Absolutely not. But maybe Trump's is going to put together a organization for missing children. Weirder things have happened. Reagan had Say No to Drugs. I'm sure nobody thought that was ever going to happen. Maybe the Trump administration is going to set something up for all these missing kids. We don't know. So why you being a Karen and putting it out there like, haha, Betty, you don't know this. No, nonsense. You're the one that doesn't know. We don't know.
Where that, please use your common sense logic. Trump doesn't have a clue what's going on. They are just using their political, when you need a fixer of a scandal. And I encourage you to go watch Mr. E's breakdown of what you call Nick the Hat for, if you want to know where I'm getting my language. Yeah. I mean, and you wonder why some of these people are connected to people like that. Or not.
Almost on a daily basis, at least several times a week. What is this Yahoo talking about? He doesn't know. He wouldn't know what is going on if it slapped him in the face because he's too busy chasing a little tail.
At least he's got a tail to chase. You just got horns on the top of your head right now from the looks of those two little puffs. I mean, all right. Betty, I thought you were going to drag this.
Automatically went for looks, nonsense. You just lost. There was no reason to go for looks at all. But I know that's what you went to because you got nothing else. I'm telling you, I really hope subs wake the fuck up. I don't know what else to do to get through to people.
This kid, and he's a young man, a respectful young man. Where's the dragging going to begin? Because all you've done is make yourself look like a fucking blubbering buffoon.
That's what it comes down to.
Trevor, do you have carpet burn? Because this dragging sucks.
Did Betty say anything that was so bad? And I don't like Betty. Let me make this fucking crystal clear. But I don't watch her either. But I didn't hear anything that deserves what is coming at her. Like, I just don't. That's just Betty. You don't need to pick apart every fucking word that comes out of this woman's mouth. Like, she didn't even say anything.
His married woman. But fishing in other people's pond gets people in a lot of trouble. I mean, we watch cases every single day.
She's got to go back to the personal insults because she has nothing factual to stand on. Yes, Brantley, that did happen. And thank you for being a member for 2 months, Brantley. I wouldn't give her a dime. That's just me. I'm with you, Brantley. I'm with you on that. And thank you again for being a member. Isn't it ironic, all the things that are Betty's trying to get to go here? Again, why are you worried with who everybody's sleeping with, Betty? Shouldn't you be worried about you not getting any?
Say for stuff like this, Trevor. Shame on you. Go back to God. I liked you when you were religious. I liked you when you talked and put God first in your life. I liked it when you were a normal human being.
Holy crap. Not the faith manipulation from Betster. We couldn't be doing that, could we? Oof.
And not.
I didn't even get this far the first time, and now I know why. I can't deal with a fucking Karen. I can't. That's all nonsense sounds like. It's a fucking Karen.
Sucked into this hate. Do you not realize that everything that you've read in the
Next thing she's going to be is running for House Speaker and saying that she's Moses.
Bible you are going against right now? Being part of the evil? Damn, boy. Stay away from me because I don't want your kind of juju. I don't want your kind of juju. And trust me, this case will go away and you still have to live with yourself after it's said and done. And
this case will.
Who's she talking about? Her high-pitched voice makes me tune out. But who's Betty even talking about?
Go. What does that mean there, Beth?
And all of the crap that you chose to throw into this case that was nothing to do with helping find Sebastian and only to do with throwing a temper tantrum over your hurt feelings.
Well, let's take a little reminder here. I couldn't find this on Smiley's today, but let's take a look at when Seth came after Trevor Lee. This is from my video breakdown.
Who cares about Trevor Lee? He's a fucking kid. Why is Trevor Lee so important? Because Betty fucking said something? These people worship the ground Betty walks on. No joke. It's like, no matter what Betty says, she's got 20 fucking people kissing her ass, wanting to talk about her and wanting this and wanting. It's fucking unbelievable. No, it's not T-Rev. She's talking about Trevor Lee, which is a kid who lives in Tennessee, who's helped out with Summer and a couple of others, but he's a kid. He's like 22 years old. Oh, BHB was talking about Trevor. Okay, thank you. I didn't know who she was talking about. But either way, she did it in a very lighthearted manner. She did it with a smile on her face. She didn't do it with anger. She didn't even do it with passion. she did it in a very lighthearted way. So what the fuck are all these Karens freaking out about? Oh my God, BHB this, BHB that. She said it very fucking normal. Like, her whole tone is funny. I'm lost over this.
Down of this, so excuse me, there is commentary already in here. And I was at this time pissed at Trevor Lee. Like I said, I gave him heavy criticism in the beginning, but Trevor has absolutely taken accountability. He has done amazing things for so many missing persons cases. And me and him have talked and communicated.
Really? What has he done? What has he done to help find any kid that he's looking for a home? So he should be validated more than the father of a missing child. Bitch, sit the fuck down with your fucking Karen ass. I'm so much better than everybody. No, you're fucking more insecure than anybody. So you have to put on this front like you're so much better. Bitch, sit down. All of them need to sit the fuck down.
I understand where he was at, and I think he understands where I was at. So there's that. So if I'm harsh on him, sorry, but I want to show you guys this.
We gave the audio file to Trevor Lee, knowing full well that
Let me back it up.
Chloe, I asked her to step back because she was leaking stuff. I know what you.
And I will say again, Trevor isn't the one who leaked the audio. I know that. It still doesn't matter.
Don't got me in the.
Oh, wait. Did I just say Trevor wasn't the one that leaked the audio? Oh, sure did. But that's what Seth was trying to blame him for.
All right. You guys can't quote me on this because I don't remember the exact scenario. But I know it was this case. So help me out here. It was this case that one of the helpers that were working with Seth, it was a female who leaked some information, and then she tried denying it, and then she went on somebody's panel. It's going back a couple months, but then she went on somebody's panel and kind of backtracked it and sounded like a complete moron. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? I just can't remember the exact scenario. But it was during this whole debacle. He had originally accused Trevor Lee, but then it turns out that one of the girls, maybe it was Chloe, and the scenario was, I remember hearing this on Britney's Live, that it was information that came by email, and then I don't know, she lied and said something like somebody broke into her computer or some shit. Okay, that's what it was. Seth blamed Trevor. It was an audio recording from Heather that she gave to Josh. The whole thing has been clear as mud. All right. Something like that. Yeah, one of his investigators. And then it went out on an email or something. It was Chloe. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't remember the exact scenario, but I remember it was something fucking weird like that. And it turns out that someone leaked it, or she claims, oh, I don't know what happened. But again, I don't remember the exact scenario. But I do remember that.
Show yet, but she was leaking information.
You are in the show.
Oh, I am in the show. My bad.
You are in the show. You are in the show. Hold on.
I figured I was still backstage talking to you, Smiley.
No, you're in the show. You're in the show.
You know, here's another thing I find interesting. No offense to anybody, but why does Trevor Lee have issues with every single person that he fucks with? Every single case, he ends up causing some kind of drama. Why is that? Every single case, there's another problem with Trevor Lee. Why? I don't know. Kind of makes you think, maybe it is him?
So, mic drop.
They're
Mic
sped up.
drop.
Pretty much.
Let's
Yeah,
slow this down.
Chloe leaked. Chloe gave the audio file to Trevor Lee, knowing full well that I would take the blame because I'm the person that does that.
That's not what happened. And what they are trying to do here is they're trying to blame Trevor Lee for leaked audio.
Who cares? Who the fuck is Trevor Lee? He's just a kid who's looking for missing kids. He doesn't get more validation than the father of a missing child. Sorry, not sorry.
Audio of
Johnny, she had 1,000 people in her live today. That's also how I know the QB's not buying subs. Someone asked me that because unless they're all buying subs, they all go from chat to chat to chat.
freaking phone call between a PI and Chris Proudfoot. It took the PI, Heather, like, I'm sure she's still trying to figure out the source of this leak. Anyways, whole other story. But they tried to play all these confusing things. And meanwhile, Josh had that audio and sat on it for quite some time to release on the date of their child custody hearing. But somehow they were trying to twist the narrative and blame it on Trevor Lee. Because what happened? Oh, Trevor Lee. And then the lab even took it a step further. So I wonder where that idea comes from. The Just for Men commercial. The Just on, and I feel Trevor had an inside view to what was building and going on. I still stand by that. Seth has the right to involve himself with all of these people, and he has continued to do so over and over and over again. And I'm sure that Trevor Lee felt so frustrated knowing what it was turning into from the inside perspective, being face to face with these people on the ground searching. So, but we've seen what he's done with the ability to turn it into whatever he's wanted to. Look at Betty today.
If it wasn't for Seth's son, Trevor wouldn't have anyone to look for. So to give Trevor Lee, some 22-year-old kid with a really, really bad beard, any more validation than fucking Seth, you're an idiot.
Parents to have ethical. And I can tell you the date of this video. So if anybody wants it themselves, you can go grab it. Let me go down here. August 18th. The title is TikTok.
Such a desire to be involved that you drowned out the voice of a missing 15-year-old boy when he needed it the most. Shame on you, Mr. Mathis. Antonio replied, I think you have a future as a professional crybaby. You are good at it.
Trevor gets some good fucking digs in here, just an FYI. He
To continue on. And
Nonsense. Are you in love with Trevor? Like, because this is kind of eerie.
he got aggressive.
You have no right, because you know what? When you were in the good with Seth, you would be trying to do something like this if you were still in the good with Seth. But because you're not, you want to throw a temper tantrum and try to thwart efforts that a father, an innocent father looking for his son, because you have a butthurt issue. I find that appalling and disgusting, Trevor Lee.
Let's look at when Trevor Lee and Seth Rogers were in decent communication, in my opinion. Let's go to the lab from March 20th, 2024.
Can you imagine if Nonsense spent all this fucking time actually looking for missing children? The way she's pulling up clips from March, that takes research. More research than I would ever do, worrying about some drama clips. Honestly, why are you spending all this time trying to prove what I don't know? What are you trying to prove? Are you in love with Trevor Lee for real? Like, what? Why you on his dick so bad? And pulling up all these fucking clips. It's crazy.
I think this is enlightening too. So let's go back over here. So he was in the chat. Trevor Lee and Seth Rogers, or Trevor Lee and Josh were on the panel. Seth Rogers was in the chat. Again, this is from March 20th, 2024. Seth pops up about the 21:45 minute mark.
Seth, biological father of Sebastian. And I think there he is. Good deal. All right. You can turn your camera off if you'd like. It's not a big deal. Whatever you want to do. How you doing? Good to see you. Can you hear me?
Tired. Yes, sir, I can.
Good deal, man. Yeah, I know that you've been out searching and doing what you can to figure out what's going on.
Got to do what's got to be done.
Yeah. So did you catch any of the conversation that Smiley had on her show?
I caught some of it.
Yeah. And what stuck out to you there? I mean, was there anything that shocked you?
This is my issue. I'm an adult. All right. And I'm not here to throw anything at Chris or Katie. This needs to be about Sebastian. I don't care about drama.
And just a quick note, he is not referencing when he was on Smiley's going after Trevor Lee. He is referencing when Chris and Katie go. But Betty did not enter.
Scientifically mature.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Brain finished developing around 24 to 26 for males. So, he's got a while to go. I know how it goes for me. I mean, everything that my mom and dad told me, when I hit 24, 25, things started clicking really, like, oh, that's why they said not to do this. Oh, that's why they said he's not a morning person from my
aware. One of the things that our friend from TikTok is trying to allude to, Julie, our friend from TikTok, profound autism, Julie, she is trying to allude to that Sebastian was malnourished, underfed, not taken care of properly. That has been something she has been implying over and over again. In fact,
Nonsense. Do you know he wasn't? I mean, let's call a spade a spade. Do you know him personally? You don't know if he wasn't. Maybe she's right, maybe she's wrong. But you can't say she's wrong because you don't know.
in fact, comment section has said that she has asked those questions. She is doing way too much.
Was taken inside Texas Roadhouse at 309 Indian Lake Boulevard in Hendersonville, Tennessee, on or around February 25th, 2024, between 5 p.m. and 11 p.m. This was the location of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers' last known meal, shared with a group that included his biological mother, Katie Proudfoot, on the night he vanished. If you were there and have relevant photos or videos, your submission could help uncover critical details. A reward of $500 to $5,000 is being offered for qualified material. Email litigation@night.agency or call 844-922-3236. Please share this post to help spread the word. Every piece of information matters. Together, we can make a difference. Wow. What a professional way to gather information and also help the people that have the information with a little Christmas money.
Did she just say Christmas money? She did. Let's let her talk a few more seconds, and then I got something to show you.
Sounds like a winner chicken dinner all day long, and you got Butthurt Betty over there cooking up hate.
Butthurt Betty, speaking of Butthurt Betty, Betty, do you remember your own exclusive interview with Seth Rogers on May 30th? Do you remember that? Let's go to about the 36-minute mark in this interview. I think I've got something that might shock some people that was said on Betty's panel. Let's go.
Because you had not spoken to your son since the Thursday before he went missing. Yeah, I'm sure even when you do have an opportunity to get sleep, your brain probably doesn't shut off. So
It doesn't.
So this is going to be, I don't know, this is going to be a little bit different. you asked for a kind of, I don't know how, I'm just going to be blunt. You asked for basically a proof of life video from law enforcement because you had not spoken to your son since the Thursday before he went missing. So you didn't speak to him Friday. He was out Saturday with his mom, Sunday, and then Monday he wasn't there. And so law enforcement did bring you, brought you in and talked to you about the Roadhouse video, and you got an opportunity to see your son walk out of the restaurant. Can you?
Isn't that weird? Betty today trying to defend them asking for video that she knew law enforcement.
Is she fucking kidding me? Am I being punked here? Like, is she punking everybody? What is so fucking weird about it? Again, if you know how to work a crime, you go back to the beginning. You start at the beginning point. There's nothing weird about it at all. There's nothing strange about it. That's how investigations work. You start at the beginning.
Had already shown Seth. Isn't this weird? Oh, yeah.
If anybody, and I'm putting this out there, if anybody finds that weird, then you don't know how to do true crime, because there's absolutely nothing weird about it.
It's weird.
Tell me, what was the first thing that you noticed when you saw that video?
Is it live? It was literally just a proof of life video.
What was his demeanor like?
There wasn't enough for me to tell.
How about the clothes that he was wearing? Were those, I think you've already answered this, but just for my clarification.
Chris answered that question.
Huh?
Chris answered that question.
What did Chris say? I must have.
But Seth answered that question. Seth answered that question with Pascal.
I will say interviews are Betty's strong points.
Hold on. Let me just pull that up really quick. Hold on. Deputy sheriff, but he's a correctional officer. And actually, hold on. Let's go back to this one because there's a few other interesting pieces.
Been cleared.
No, nobody has.
The fact that Nonsense takes the time to find all of these clips, it's not admirable. It's fucking freaky. Spend your time looking for clips and going through clips of people that fucking matter. Betty doesn't matter. This is creepy as fuck.
If you had a list.
Sorry, hold on. I forgot about this upcoming part. It's interesting when it comes to revival.
I think it's kind of hilarious, but you know.
And actually, I'm going to kind of go on a little tangent here, but just to clarify, where do you work?
I work for Davidson County Sheriff's Office.
And what is your job or your job title?
Deputy Sheriff, and I work in the Corrections Department.
And where were you the night that Sebastian disappeared?
At work.
And you said you were at a
correction center.
And so you were at a jail.
Yeah, I was in jail.
so you were in jail. And I'm sure there's probably, with it being a jail, it's a very secured area.
Oh, yes. I am on camera arriving at 6 p.m. into the garage, which is a secure garage. You have to have badge access to get in or out.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot about this.
And then I'm leaving at like 7:30 the next morning. Gotcha. Exiting out of the garage.
Exiting out of the garage at 7:30 the next morning. Well, why in the other? I got questions. Never mind. Let's.
If you
Honest question though. Why is Nonsense allowed to ask questions, but Dog and Nick are not? And make that make sense. Hey, Criminal Med. How come it's okay for Nonsense to ask questions, but nobody else can?
had to list Sebastian's favorite activities to his least activities, which would those be?
Favorite activity?
Why is there just, I don't know. Never mind.
Distraction and BS.
All the time.
And
All
I
the
was
time.
trying
Kathy.
to
And Gemini, you could totally be right, but here's, now I circle back to the beginning. Why does it matter? Who cares if Seth has inconsistencies? We know he didn't do it. So who cares that if we know he's a liar? If people have such a problem with Seth, walk away from the case. You don't bash the parent of a missing child. Period. End of story. I don't give a fuck who it is. I never bashed, honestly, I never bashed Don. I never bashed Candace. I never bashed the Proudfoots. I never bashed making a murderer. Like, you don't bash parents of a missing kid. Period. End of story. And if you don't like the parents, then you walk away from the case. That's all. Plain and simple.
I worked with I was about to change the title of this because I'm like, Betty had said it. We got to have, raise the roof, put God first. And I thought about it, and And I'm like, you know what? This boy used to be godly. He used to do the right thing because it was the right thing to do, not because he was being
Here's the other thing where hypocrisy comes into play, okay? Seth is a victim. So her banner that keeps saying we care about victims, Seth is a victim. Katie is a victim. Chris is a victim. Everyone involved is a victim, family-wise. They're all victims. So you don't get to pick and choose which victims you talk about and which victims you don't. A bunch of fucking hypocritical fakes in this community.
praised. And he hung around bad people that got him in hot water. And then he wanted to lose his mind because of his little girlfriend having her feelings hurt. Well, let me tell you, Chloe is a POS, okay? She doesn't know her butt from her elbow, okay? And she wouldn't know how to do PI work if it smacked her in the face and over the head and said, hey, this is what PI work really is.
Well, she's a licensed PI, unlike you, who has no.
It doesn't matter. Being a PI is like being a fucking life coach. Anyone can do it. You don't need a degree. You go for a 2-hour fucking class and you could be a licensed PI. So nonsense, that means absolute nothing.
No credentials except fake ones that you print off on the internet. So there's that. But carry on. Let's continue.
Okay, that's why we don't work with people that have this, true crime experience and say, oh, I want to be a private investigator. Let me go take a book test. Oh, I passed my book test. I'm a private eye. Okay, there's
Betty is 100% right about that.
more to it than that because I've worked with the best of private investigation. What they do is not private investigation. It's public investigation, and you don't need a license for it. Okay? You don't need a license for it. But to sit and dog the actual work being done on behalf of Sebastian Waindrake Rogers and his father, Seth Rogers, and try to sit there and throw every time we move the ball forward, try to hinder that progress is disgusting and is not honorable. And I guarantee you, if you talk to your preacher, he would probably tell you the same thing.
2 points for Betty. She's 100% right.
Pull your head out of your butt, boy. Screw it back on right and get your head back into the game because you doing this doesn't help any case. Any case. And what was it all about? Like you guys and your team could set up tip lines for information at the time it's happening. But 9 months later, when the case has gone nowhere, oh my God, they're not investigating. Well, you know what? The investigators had 9 months and they've done everything but spit in Seth's face.
Well, that's interesting though, because he was giving.
But she's right. You can't dice it any other way. Betty is 100% correct. So you may not like Betty, but what's coming out of her mouth is 100% dead on.
Law enforcement accolades for he'd never seen so many horses out there. They had 12 dogs. I mean, that's interesting.
So guess what? It's over. Okay, Seth is working with the FBI. He wants Sumner County to do their job, which they haven't been. Why? Because like I told you, they don't have the money. They don't have the money. They're broke. They're not managing law enforcement's budgets well in Tennessee. Like I've said.
That might be true. I have no idea. I don't know their budgets. I don't know their books. It's possible she's right.
For 3 years. So I'm upset. My grits are burnt. And I had to get that off my chest.
You know what? Something I need to get off my chest is this little part of your interview from May 30th. I just got a question, Betty. Why are things so different now that are being said? Let's remember this one.
And it's going to suck for you. And I know, and if you need to stop or slow down, just let me know. But I want you to kind of go back to the morning of February 26th, when you listened to your voicemail message and you heard Chris on it. Was it Chris that was on the voicemail?
The text message.
For those of you that listened to the interview the other night, this might be interesting. Thank you, Wanderlusting. I appreciate you guys. Sorry if I'm giving you whiplash, bopping back and forth in and out of interviews, but there's just one thing that will trigger another memory, and I'm over here like scrambling to pull up this or finding this timestamp because there's certain things that I remember in certain interviews, but there's a whole lot more here. Like there's so much, but I appreciate you guys bearing with me through this because it's interesting to say the least.
Text message. And
I had a missed call and a text message from Christopher Proudfoot telling me to 911. So I called him.
And what was that conversation like?
Don't be angry or mad. Sebastian's missing. What are you fucking talking about? My son is missing.
Did you find the statement, don't be angry or mad, odd?
Yes and no. I mean, my son's missing.
Yeah. Yes and no.
You know?
Call me dumb. How is that an aha moment? Call me dumb. Maybe it's me. Maybe I just don't think like an idiot. But I don't get what the fuck she's talking about. Like, why is that an aha moment?
Distraught would have been a better word. Confused on why he's gone. Mad and angry now. With what I know, yeah. Mad and angry fits now. But then again, what I know now is everything that Chris knew beforehand.
Oh, so up until these May-ish interviews, I got questions. And I don't blame him for going back and looking at things and saying, you know, that is odd now. It wasn't odd then because all of that, like, I can understand some of that emotional conflict and memory changes of certain things, but some of this I can't quite understand. I'll be honest.
Did you get immediately concerned when you got that call that there was something seriously wrong? Did you just know immediately?
I left there and I was doing well above the speed limit trying to get to Katie's house. Evidence of any.
In this one on May 30th, because that's one thing I notice is different. But I'm going to go over here and I'm going to play it behind a screen just because these guys have, I'd be able to recall any of the
Point, did he ask you if
Yes, I'm assuming that
Is missing and the cops are at our house. It was just like,
stories and things that were a little inconsistent that we've noticed, but then we all kind of just felt like we don't even know their baseline, let alone they're going through the most traumatic experience. As far as me personally, I don't know their baseline outside of a traumatic situation that everybody's going to act differently about. Same with Seth. What I do notice with Seth is the people, like how much, in my opinion, he's been emotionally exploited by the people around him, and they really lead the questions of him changing stories. Like they lead him into changing stories. It's weird to me, and that's very noticeable.
The handful of volunteers that did show spent the morning searching their assigned grid plan. Officials with the United Cajun Navy tell me due to a shortage of volunteers, they ended the searches around 30.
Yeah. So are
I'd
you
like, you know, his godparents live up in Clarksville too, and he has their phone number. He could, you know, I tell people if you have rapists every day.
Oh my God, I'm sitting here screaming and you guys didn't even hear it. All right. What I said was, maybe I could say it a little calmer now because I was a little fucking hot-headed. But one of the reasons that she goes after Brittany is because Brittany and Justin are always going back to the beginning of and going through interviews of Chris and Katie's interviews. And they keep trying to find problems with Chris and Katie's interviews and nonsense. And all these people, especially this Karen over here, calls out Brittany for it. Please show me the difference between Brittany going through and exploiting Sebastian by going through all of Katie and Chris's interviews, but it's perfectly okay for her to do it to Seth. And people don't see this fucking hypocrisy because they're blinded by their hate for Betty. Someone please try to make sense of this for me. Because maybe it's me. Maybe I'm just the dumbest motherfucker in the universe and can't see the obvious. Because in my mind and the way my mind thinks, there's absolutely no difference than what she's doing. The only difference is Nonsense doesn't want to get heat from Clue or somebody else, so she picks that side. And they all hate Betty so much that they can't see past Betty to not bash Seth. But what she's doing is the exact fucking same thing that Brittany and Justin do to the Proudfoots. So if people can't see what a fucking lying ass hypocrite this dumb bitch is, then I feel very sorry for them because it's so fucking obvious and it's so on point that she's no better than Brittany. She's no better than Betty, and neither are any of them. Any of them. Repeat what you are comparing. One of the reasons that Nonsense always goes after Brittany is because Brittany and Justin and them always go back and go over interviews that Chris and Katie did, trying to find inconsistencies. And that's why she started attacking Brittany in the first place. And then it became that Brittany was a tragedy pimp and Brittany was exploiting, because Brittany would go through all the interviews and they spent months. They probably still do it. I haven't watched in a long time, but they spent months going through interviews. And that's why she started going after Brittany. Or I don't know if it was the main reason, but it was definitely one of the reasons. And now she's doing the exact same thing. So Brittany and Justin went through Chris and Katie's interviews to make sure that he didn't have inconsistencies, and then they would find their inconsistencies. But now she's doing the exact same thing. And all the subs are like, oh, you're right, Nonsense. You're right, Nonsense. Like, what the fuck? It shouldn't be a competition, but it always is. Exactly. Has QB subs. She would lose them. That's exactly my point. It's all about the money. Amen. A fucking men. There is no difference. People can make excuses all day long, but there's no excuse. The bottom line is, don't go after somebody if the only reason why Seth is being attacked is because Betty is on his side. If Betty wasn't on his side, he would never be attacked. But they can't see past their hate for fucking Betty. Seth is allowed to have more of a voice. Why? He wasn't there. It wasn't on his watch. Things might be totally different if Seth disappeared. I mean, if Sebastian disappeared on Seth's watch. So, of course, Chris and Katie's going to be quiet. Remember, anything they say and do can be used against you in a court of law. You're best off shut the fuck up. Seth doesn't have to shut the fuck up because he wasn't anywhere near there when Sebastian went missing. But Katie was. Katie needs to shut the fuck up. Because if, God forbid, something comes back to her, I mean, think about it. There are a lot of parents that get blamed for a child that's missing or a death or whatever. And, when they were in their care, I mean, think about it. He's not on camera. I mean, just think this through. He's not on camera outside. They don't see him leave the house. They don't have him on camera in the neighborhood. So how did he leave? Allegedly, there was only one person who he was home with. Just one. Just one. That would be Katie. Does it look like Katie did something? It sure as fuck does. Can they prove it? Is there evidence of it? Absolutely not. That's where we're at. It's exactly where we're at. So Katie's best move is to shut the fuck up. So this way, even if she's completely innocent, she can't say something that might make them think otherwise, and then she's really fucked. Exactly, Liza. That's my whole point. Why do the prophets speak to the creator? Well, I think Clue lives out there, so I understand why they would speak to Clue. But didn't Clue hate Chris for a minute? How'd he walk out on his own? He had no shoes on. Why would he walk out with no shoes on? Think about it. Why would he leave in the middle of the night with no shoes on? And he's not on camera anywhere. And there was something with Katie driving around that seemed odd. I forgot what it was, though. I told you guys, and I wasn't lying. Once I found out that everyone on this case is fucking shady, I walked away from it. I don't trust any of them. Oh, have they? Yeah, because they're all part of the same crew. Jay is actually very good with getting people to talk to her, though. She always got good interviews and stuff. I don't know what she does or says, but she's very good at getting people. Very good at getting people to talk to her. I will give her that. She did used to talk shit about the product. That's what I thought. CP does go on all the Seth Basher channels. Of course. Sweetie Pie, I totally agree. But they're also blinded by hate for Betty. But you can't even say that. It's not even hate. They fucking worship the ground Betty walks on. Because if Betty left YouTube, who would they talk about? They'd have no money. They would make nothing. Maybe then the subs would fucking wake up. Maybe then the subs would be like, oh, now I get it. But the subs are totally obsessed with Betty. I don't know if they just mean people and they need someone to bash. I don't know. It's the fucking weirdest thing I've ever seen. And it's gone on like 2 years already. It's not even like it's new. I mean, this is 2 fucking years already. Betty may break my record. They give her money for blip boards and everything before life? What do you mean? Burnt toast would have no content. Yeah, Noreen, depending on the state. But the bottom line is, it doesn't take much to be a PI. You have to, it's like being a life coach. You go for a class and you become a PI. Now, to work for a reputable place, yeah, you have to investigate, but to become a PI, it's nothing. I'll show you. Pick a state. How to become a PI in Tennessee. Meet the minimum requirements, gain relevant experience or training, which could be anything. Get fingerprinted, submit an application for license, pass a test, check felony convictions, convictions for crime. That's it. It's a simple test. Find entry-level employment, which could be YouTube. Pursue a class investigator intern license, optional. Gain 1 to 2 years experience. That's not mandatory, though. Pass the Florida State Board. And in Alaska, Idaho, Indiana, Mississippi, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, and South Dakota, you don't even have a state license. You can just say you're a PI. The Proudfoots gave Cluminati 1,000 for blip boards, then people donated to a Cash App. Huge grift. Requirement of a license to be employed. Yeah, to be employed as a private detective, private investigator. Then you have to have experience, but you can't get experience without your license. So it kind of doesn't make sense. You have to have your license to get experience, unless you're like a cop. You have to have 40 hours of professional training offered by a state university or by a school, community college, by Department of Education. You have to have a letter. Yeah, that's it. You have to have a letter of intent to sponsor PI intern. Must be submitted with the application. Yeah, that's to work. Or you could just take 2 years of college or internship, or someone could lie. I wouldn't intern for free for 2 years. Basically, it's easy enough, though. It is that easy. Because you either intern or you could do it through school. Yeah, certain states are way easy. But Betty's not wrong. Especially in the states that I named off. You don't even need to be licensed. Now, Betty couldn't do it. She wouldn't pass the test. Yep. See, it's recommended that you first learn how to work investigations, not mandatory. And you only need 12 hours of continuing ed every 2 years. She's right there. It's a joke. Tennessee license requirements. Be 21, have a clean criminal record. You must be legally allowed to work in Tennessee. You have to have a high school diploma or GED. You need to be employed by a Tennessee PI agency. This can be your own agency. So you can start up your own Tennessee private license, PI. Fingerprint, you need to take a PI exam. You need to complete 12 hours of continuing ed to get hired as a PI in Tennessee. You need PI experience. If you don't have it, take a PI skills course. Betty's 100% right. For only $249, this is all you need. Money, money, money. Yeah, but if she's already a lawyer, I mean, if she already has a degree in criminal justice, then she has the requirements. She doesn't need more requirements. She already has the requirements. It said college is fine for the requirements. Huh. So I'm gonna get off though. I've been on almost 3 hours and I've had enough of that Karen ass. I can't listen to her fucking Karen speeches anymore. It's driving me nuts. So one thing I want to point out, my baby's coming home tomorrow, but I did promise you guys free shipping. I'm gonna do that tomorrow when I wake up. Because I know a lot of people are gonna watch this on the replay and I don't want them to miss it. So tomorrow around noon, I'm going to go live and we're going to start the free shipping, which is going to go for 48 hours. So that's a sale you don't want to miss because that one doesn't come around too often. But that is going to be free shipping on all items. So big sale coming. I know a lot of people hate to fucking pay shipping. Well, tomorrow's your chance. Tomorrow and Tuesday is your chance to not pay shipping. And that's it. All right. So I want to thank you guys for being here. I saw some faces I haven't seen in a while, so welcome back. One thing I want to say before I leave, Voices said something today that I have to laugh at. She was talking about Molly Collins CPS, another fake ass fucking bitch. But someone in her chat went after her and said something along the lines of her, like all the dirty shit that she did. And well, it's only US shipping, guys. I can't afford to send it to Australia. It depends what you order. Kim, I will. I mean, I messed it last time. I can make a Christmas surprise box. I don't have one made. But I can. I mean, I could put one together. So, well, free shipping doesn't start till tomorrow at like noon, as soon as I get up. But the Voices said someone went after her about shit she did. And she said anything past 6 months doesn't count. Oh, okay. So people want to hold me to the fire for 3.5 years ago. But all these other creators, 6 months, after 6 months doesn't matter. Make it make sense. What's good for thee is not good for me. I don't get it. Everybody has different standards depending on who it is. Some people it matters, some people it doesn't. I don't get it at all. But the fact that she says anything she did more than 6 months ago doesn't matter. But what I did almost 4 years ago, that matters. Okay. But that's the mentality around here, and I don't get it. I just don't. I don't think I ever will. But I just thought it was funny, though. And she was getting so mad, too. Like, and she just wasn't grasping the concept. Yeah, everyone gets a hall pass but me. And they try to make it out like what I did was so bad. Molly did the same shit. And she's not getting half the slack. Okay. That's true. Most people don't make sense. Exactly. So sick of you copping shit for everything everyone else is doing with no problem. Yep. I just thought it was really funny, though. She's right, though. She gets anything past 6 months doesn't count. But it counts with me. And then I think from what I heard, she may have realized that and was saying, you know, how come this one gets a pass, but people are giving Laura so much shit? Because it's me, that's why. Because I won't go with the crowd. All these people fucking kiss ass to follow the crowd. No, I'd rather stand on my own. I have no problem standing on my own. I'm never going to go with the flow just for the mighty dollar. Sorry, not sorry. It's not going to happen. I'd rather rebuild on my own and still stand on my own. So, I know, right, sweet one? Sweet one, you got my email, right? I sent you an email. All right, I'm getting off. I'm getting tired. I've been on a while. Almost 3 hours. 2 hours, 45 minutes. Voice has done some really shady shit. Really shady shit. That's true too, Criminal Man. So true. Everyone that's got orders in, by the way, candles are going out tomorrow, just so you know. All the ones that ordered the first 2 nights, your candles are going out tomorrow. Kim, yours is not ready yet. I have to remake yours. I sent Kim the wrong candle. You better check in your email. Yeah, check your email. I said I accidentally booted you. Even though you're not a member, you're a candle customer. So I said, any candle customers that want to stay in, let me know. But I hadn't seen you, sweet one, so I wasn't sure what you were doing. So, all right, but I'm going to get out of here. I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Oh, it's 11:11. Make a wish. I will see you guys tomorrow. Figure around 11, 12, somewhere around there. I sent it a couple of days ago. I sent it the day I booted you. I accidentally booted you out of Discord. Not that you ever talked anyway. Oh. Alright, I'm tired. I don't know where my doggies are. They're probably outside. Dayton probably left them out and didn't bring them back in. Because I don't see any of them, and they've all been awfully quiet. Do the wine glass come as a pair? No. I can make them a pair, but no, they don't. I could put together a deal for the pair. There's Winston. What are you doing in the closet? I just seen it come walking out of my closet. I could do something with, like, champagne glasses I was going to put as a pair. But the wine glasses are big, though. That's the problem. Some of them are big. I just picked up a bunch more glasses. I'm sorry, sweet one. So then you didn't notice he got booted. Alright, let me find my doggies. And I will see you people tomorrow morning. In the morning. Early afternoon. But I got to pick up Phoenix tomorrow night. Yay! By the end of it, I'll learn how to use my engraver. And as soon as we figure it out, I'm going to run a special on that too. Because I'll have engraved vessels. So I got a bunch of practice glass to practice on. Yes, the champagne glasses, because they're smaller and thinner, I have smaller wine glasses I can do as a pair. But the big one, I have big wine glasses too. I put the link, it's in members, but I will, respond to my email. I'll give it to you by email. I can't wait for the engraver either. I told Phoenix that's his only job this whole week that he's home is figure out this engraver and let's get it working. I've been holding off Because if he can't get it working, I'm returning it. I'm making an excuse and just getting $1,000 back. But I have faith he'll be able to do it. So, all right. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a wonderful night. And thank you guys so much. And if you are interested in free shipping, hold off till tomorrow and wait till the morning. All right. I will see you guys tomorrow.